Hi, Kapun Piso here. Believing gods are created in the brain. Sometimes when they malfunction, like in schizophrenia, but they also can be believing God, and gods themselves can be produced by drugs, including LSD.
The effects of its molecular structure in the brain.
We think that it activates a type of brain receptor that's known as a serotonin 2A receptor. That
for relaying signals between brain and nerve cells.
We are our brains. All these little chemicals in there, neurotransmitters. And you put some drugs in there, you can see gas and you can act crazy. Or you can be very smart, because some of these drugs can make you really see clearly science. It's all in the brain.
Emotion, appetite, and sleep are all affected by its fluctuations. Almost like a key into the serotonin receptors.
The LSD does, yeah.
Stimulating their activity, subtly or profoundly.
And these drugs can make you be born again. It's all in the brain.
T-Fairy and Burning Dan feel that they're seeing the world for the first time. It stems from a group of cells in the brain called the locus ceruleus.
Science! It's the brain! Right there!
Nichols calls it the novelty detector.
normally what happens is if we see something in the environment that's novel, it starts burst firing very quickly. The cells fire very quickly. So if we're sitting in a quiet room like this and someone drops a glass bottle across the room, we all immediately hear it because the locus ceruleus start firing and draw our attention to it. Well, psychedelics amplify the burst firing in novelty.
Psychedelics be used to help those in desperate situations clean the slate and see life anew.
Can be done.
Does it sound okay?
It's all in the brain.
Of course. Just lie down, just relax, and just go into the experience.
The fact is that there is no God. When we die, we cease to exist. And the best thing to do is to alleviate the suffering and pain. And that's what these scientists are using LSD to actually calm everybody down, because everybody's fear of death. That's the reason they invented God and bullshit like that, which things don't exist. Let's go down to the reality of it all. Everything is in the brain. And people don't seem to see it.
Going to die in less than a year. She has stage 4 ovarian cancer,
Problem is a psychiatrist that works for the United States government, which is infected with Christianity. You know, they are blind to the reality of it all. They're infected with Christ-psychosis. Look at what happened in Fort Hood. The Islam psychotic, you know, killing everyone. And then they come around and they utter, oh, we have to pray and prayers for the victims. That's bullshit. You know, God doesn't exist. It's a problem of the brain. And you have to deal with this problem and actually, you know, put these people that believe in God and all these idiots that are the cause of all the problems in mental institutions. But the problem is the whole government is infected. And the psychiatrists are idiots. They don't know their ass from a hole in the ground. The brain is the one that created all these problems, idiots.
All I could think of was, I'm going to die really soon and it's going to be horrible, excruciating death. I'm going to be in horrible pain. Just had these thoughts going over and over again and they wouldn't stop.
Annie is scared about dying. She also worries about those she loves.
Since all religious beliefs accept imaginary friends as reality, just like in schizophrenia, it is a schizophrenia. And a lot of psychiatrists don't see this. The only ones that will actually see it are the mentally healthy psychiatrists, in other words, atheists, that can tell the difference between fact and fiction. And this is the problem today. United States is a Christianity-infected country, anti-science, because, you know, in the moment you have religion, you are anti-science. You accept a resurrected zombie as reality, and that is a sickness.
I believe in God, I'm really retarded.
Annie is one of 12 patients with advanced cancer enrolled in this end-of-life study at Harbor UCLA Medical Center.
Oh, a guy can allow these things, an idiot. God doesn't
Using a
exist.
moderate dose of psilocybin, psychiatrist Charles Grobe and his colleague Alicia and his colleague through a psychedelic experience.
Exactly.
They hope will calm their fear and
That's
anxiety.
the best way. That's the very best way.
Develop
That's
a
very
terminal illness, they're often overwhelmed with anxiety. They often have to take large quantities of pain-suppressing.
But Christ-psychotics, they love pain and torture and fear.
And it constricts their sense of who they are, their sense of
They want this
who they
illegal.
always thought they were, and their sense of purpose, their sense of meaning.
This is taking psilocybin or other compounds multiple times. It's about orchestrating, if you can, a single profound transformative experience.
Exactly.
That then results in an unfolding of behavioral change over time.
Appease the brain when you're going to die. Yes.
It takes less than an hour for the world to begin to look different to Annie.
The drug started to work. It felt like the bed wasn't a bed anymore. It was a circle of hands, and it was a circle of hands.
We're evolved mutated primates that are born atheists, lack in belief. There is no God. And chemicals affect the brain. So when we're ready to die, it's best to die in peace by the use of drugs. Regardless of what kind of a religious psychosis you have been born into, in the moment that you die, you have all this pain and cancer and everything else. They can give you some LSD and some drugs, manipulate the brain, and you will join your imaginary friend God, whatever God it is, and feel good and die in peace. But the Christ-psychotics in this country, in the United States, which is a Christianity-infected country, they are anti-science, and they are virulent in the government to actually keep us stuck in the Middle Ages with their stupid believing God. That's the cause of all the problems in the United States. It's a disgusting, immorality-inducing mental illness that has no business in this 21st century. Nobody can see. I had a dear friend, a 30-year-old friend, wonderful person, that was put in an hospice. And even though I told him, hey, get away from the United States, a bunch of Christian lunatics, he was in an hospice. He lasted only a week. And he died in terrific, terrible pain. Thanks to Christ. He bled internally. That's disgusting. You will exist forever in my memory banks, and I'll see you at night when I dream. My friend ceased to exist 2 months ago. And they were giving painkillers. Where are the morons going to give somebody painkillers when the person is dying? Idiots! These Christian theaters put Dr. Kevorkian in jail. See, they love pain. They cannot stand letting anybody die in peace and have the right to die when you want to die. You get LSD, you get this drug, and you die in peace. No, because it's idiots, it's retarded Christ-psychotic morons like everybody to suffer.
You see gods and all kind of things. It's beautiful.
Franz Vollenweider's lab in Zurich is investigating this spiritual reaction that is so common with psychedelic use.
Yes. You see God.
These drugs activate the frontal area of the brain responsible for sense of self, while the amygdala, critical in the processing of fear and anxiety, shuts down, resulting in the feeling of what Vollenweider calls oceanic boundlessness.
Yes, like gods and things like that.
It's a kind of melting with the environment. So in that state, people also experience mostly heightened feelings.
Yep.
There's no thinking about the person. There's no observer.
It changes the way you think.
Of the 12 participants in this psilocybin study, only 2 survive. Annie passed away during the making of this film.
They used the psilocybin as part of their work to prepare for dying.
That's the best way you can do it.
They'd said what they'd needed to say. They'd forgiven people. They'd mended relationships.
Yep.
There is no morality in a schizophrenia type Christianity. Pace Deorum.